What this bill does, plain and simply, is it puts teeth in the right of petition, because it says that not only do you as a parent or you as a teacher have a right to petition your local school board regarding changes you want to make in your local school, it says that the local school board must actually take a look at your concerns and decide whether or not they have merit or not. In other words, a local school board cannot simply take your concerns and throw them in the dustbin and ignore them. It must look the parents and the teacher in the eye and say, yes, your concerns have merit and we're going to vote it up, or no, we disagree with your concerns and we're going to vote it down. That at its core is what this bill is all about, putting teeth in a fundamental right that exists for all of our people, and that is the right to petition their government for redress. Now, in detail, what HB 123 does is simply this. If parents want to petition their local school board to convert their traditional school into what's called a conversion charter school, which is still a public school, which still must serve as the same geographic area as the traditional school, the parents can sign a petition, and if a majority of them wish to do so, that petition is then taken to the local school board, and the local school board has to act on that petition. If they simply have 50% plus one person, the local school board can reject that petition by a majority vote. But if over 60% of the parents say, we want to change this from a traditional public school into a conversion public school, then the school board can only reject it by 2/3. Similarly, what the bill also does is say to teachers, if you are working in a low-performing school, and that's already been defined under Georgia law, and you believe that the problem is with the management of that school, you can, by secret ballot, or by petition, but usually by secret ballot, the teachers can petition their local school board to change the operation of that school. In other words, it gives the teachers an opportunity to go to their local school board and demand changes in a school that is low performing. Parents will also have a similar right to do just that. The avenues that can be taken by the parents or the teachers in terms of changing the management of that local school system are the same avenues or the same criteria that the Office of Student Achievement already has under Georgia law. In other words, we already can do this from the top down. What we're simply now doing is allowing parents and teachers to do it from the bottom up. Now, a couple of things I think are very important, because there's some folks who've been a little bit confused on this, and I want to make sure this is clearly understood. This remains local. We're not setting up a system in which anyone can bypass the local school system in regards to how a traditional school is to operate in the future. The local school board built it, the local school board funded it, and the local school board will ultimately have the decision making as to whether or not either the teacher or the parent's application to change the operation of the school occurs. That needs to be clearly understood. Now, I dropped this bill originally last year, but I wanted to wait, as well as the other sponsors of this bill, wanted to wait a year, because two things. Number one, we did not want it to get confused with the Charter School Amendment, which dealt with an entirely different situation. But we also wanted to listen to the teachers, we wanted to listen to the school boards, we wanted to listen to the school superintendents, and most importantly, we wanted to listen to the parents. And we did that. I cannot think of any organization that came to us in the course of the last year with concerns about how the bill would operate, and that group did not come away with at least some of, if not most of their concerns being taken care of. That's why the Georgia School Board Association is neutral on this bill. That's why the Georgia Association of School Superintendents is neutral on this bill. That's why the two major teacher organizations in this state are neutral on this bill. Because we listened to them. Because we took into account their concerns and we tried to incorporate it. That process is continuing, quite frankly, even to today. You will have on your desk an amendment by my good friend from Atlanta, Margaret Kaiser. It's a good amendment. I purposefully brought this bill to the floor as modified open because I wanted this discussion to continue. And Representative Kaiser came to me with an amendment. This is a good amendment, and I'm going to ask in a few minutes for you to vote for that amendment as well as my bill. Let me close by simply telling to me one of the most scary things that I heard through this process in committee. And that's when one of the rare opponents to this bill came and testified and said that we should not allow parents to have this much power. We should not allow parents to be able to petition the local school board for a change in how the schools are operated. Because after all, the professionals should be left to make this decision. Well, folks, I believe in my professionals in this state. I believe in the teachers. I believe in the school superintendents. I believe in other education professionals. I believe that they should be part of the process in terms of deciding whether or not a particular petition should be accepted or not. And I'm confident that my local school boards will do just that. But woe be us if we should ever come to a point in public education in which we refuse to listen to the concerns of the parents. That is why HB 123 is so important. I've sat on the House Education Committee now through 9 sessions, chaired by my good friend Brooks Coleman. And if there's one thing I've learned through 9 sessions, in addition to serving as the chair of Education Appropriations, if there's one thing that I have learned is that one of the vital components to a successful school's operation is parental involvement in a child's education. Without it, all education reform efforts will eventually fail. What this bill simply does is it brings the parents to the table where the decisions regarding their children's education are going to be discussed. And their concerns are going to be heard, and their elected officials are going to decide whether or not those concerns have merit.